Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you here today. Um, Today I have a video that, you know, it's my actual video that I made here with a discussion with several people. So if you were watching, you would see that like the last video that I did on Pan-Africanism, it was cut off somewhere, but it's gonna be a continuation of the conversation we were having. And I want you to know, people might ask, okay, why, Afridamus, why do you constantly talk about this? People are gonna ask this question, and I must assure you, the reason why I talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, I am the counter programming to what they are trying to program you to be. I don't know if you're hearing me. Okay? Let me stop that music for a second. I'm the counter programming to what they are trying to program you to be. I'm not just here just to talk to people just for the sake of it or to want to have argument. Because if you look at it, everything, it's this war, there is a war, just so you know. A spiritual warfare, war of the minds. And for some reason, if you look at it, Africans seems to be a lot more susceptible to, taking these things in. You guys have heard some of the people that called into this show. You've heard them. You're not going to see any of these people, giving a counter argument to what is being said, the program that is being pushed, the people they are talking to. We live in a country, the United States of America, where people, they think identity is something, it's like you can just change it whenever you feel like it. If you don't believe me, go around YouTube. If you live in the States, I'm sure you've seen people who are making argument. You would see 3 different groups of black people, all look alike, talk alike, but some of them would be claiming that they are Indians, native aborigines. They would deny the fact that they are from Africa. You have other ones that say they are Africans, and then you have a separate group that says they are Americans, and then you have the confused people who are born in Africa itself that, they don't even live in America, by the way. I notice the people that participate in this argument, it's like they're trying to infuse themselves there to try to speak on behalf of Africa. This is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. It is a problem. Because, for instance, you guys see it here all the time when I speak in generalities. Not that I'm even speaking on specific countries whatsoever, but when I speak in generalities, you will get people that say, oh, Afridamus, that's not all of Africa. That's not this, that's not that. But have you ever seen these same people formulate or push any argument against this quote-unquote Pan-Africanists, who, by the way, are not Africans? It's just they are black, that's it. They are not Africans. They can't speak the language. They don't know the culture. They don't know the customs. They know nothing about Africa. But they would say, those people know more about Africa. They can talk about Africa. But if you and I, bring a counter argument to what is being said, these people would come and think and try to push back against you. Have you noticed that? You think I'm crazy yet? I'm just pointing out things to you. We have people who are professional panelists. They go from panel to panel to push this garbage. And then I was sitting there, I was thinking, I said, wait a minute. I know people, in Africa, people, there's different countries, even people that live in the same countries. The cultures, the languages are not the same. They are not the same people. And I've been talking about this over and over. Just because you're different, your culture is different from somebody, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But now, you, as an African who's from an African country, have you ever asked yourself, why is someone who, the things they are saying is not familiar to you? It is not your culture. You're just listening. The reason why I engage these people, because I want you to see it for yourself. Clearly for yourself what is happening here, that these people suffer from identity crisis. Because, you see, they don't like to deal with what is happening right now. They want to talk about Timbuktu. They want to talk about 10,000 years ago. You and I, we didn't live back then. We are not living in those eras. We are not those people. But have you ever asked yourself, why is a group of people who say they want to unite? They want to unite people of today, but they want to talk about yesterday. Something that you and I, we don't even know how true these things are. But now, what you can rely on is your own family history. Yes, I understand. Humanity itself is way, way bigger than you, me, and everybody. It's bigger than our various cultures. But you see, when we bring all those together, that's what makes us a unique force. But if you are coming to me, you're spewing something. By the way, these people, they don't believe in God also. I want to make that clear. You see, when you don't believe in God, there's no way you start suffering from identity crisis. Plain and simple. Because if you don't believe in God, I'm not saying believing about God. I said believing in God. You will start having faith and understand who you are. How can somebody ignore their own real family lineage, their father? I'm not talking about like these people where they say, oh, you gotta talk about, oh, what about your ancestors? What about them? Like, what about them? Like, what am I supposed to do about dead people? People I don't even know. What am I supposed to do about that? But they keep pushing this onto you. If you notice, they're not bringing any good news to you. The only thing they keep pushing to you is victimhood. Just like the type of education they give in Africa when you go to history class. As far as what I've learned, mostly they just say, oh, such and such white man discovered, that river, Limpopo, or whatever, some mountains. This is what they tell you. And then they tell us that we were colonized. You learn about the advantages and disadvantages of colonization. Then, when you come to places like America, the same thing they're pushing, they're talking about, oh, slavery. Why is it? Have you ever thought about it? Why is it that they're pushing this ideology on you? And some people, like, I've learned about these things, but I just look at it as history, the past. This is now. This is now. That's what I'm interested in. Okay? I don't want to not focus on my life, on what is happening, and then leave it to generations now. So they also can come back and be like, oh man, you guys remember in 1592, people like Africans named Afridamus existed? That would be another debate between those people. Those people wouldn't be able to focus on living their own lives. But now, they say Pan-Africanism, right? And you have the Africans that come and say they are arguing on behalf of this. Their arguments is not helping you, It's not helping anyone. It's not even making any sense. It's not making any sense. They are pushing victimhood upon you. Everything they are saying, they don't even have to say it point blank. They are telling you that you, because just simply you're African, you're inferior. They don't have to say it out loud, but the things they are pushing, because every single thing they're saying, they are saying, hey, your problems is not from within you. It's not what you're looking in the mirror. Your problems are caused by someone else. But then you ask them, okay, what are you going to do about it? They don't have any answer for you. So it's like their identity evolves just like the weather. You know, 1 minute is raining, another minute is sunny. If it's snowing, oh, it's hailing. You don't even know where these people stand. So that's why I have to be the counter programming to what they are programmed to try to force feed you. So when people ask me, why am I talking about this, and you're not asking why these people are pushing this agenda, that to me, you are silly. You are silly. So you just want people to just spread, this type of, ideology that doesn't make any sense, by the way. You have a group of people. I'm sitting there watching. For example, I'll give you an example. Niger. He's from Nigeria, right? Have you ever heard him putting emphasis, talking about Nigeria, present day Nigeria, or even yesterday's Nigeria? No. He has knowledge about all other places. In fact, I heard these people talking about Mali Empire, Ghana Empire. If you're from the southern state of Nigeria, deep down, you guys have absolutely nothing to do with Mali Empire or the Ghana Empire. I know people mistake these two. When they say Ghana, they think it's present day country Ghana. That Ghana Empire has nothing with the country Ghana. Two completely different types of people. It's still within that Mali Empire region. But everybody now, they talk about, oh, Mali Empire, Timbuktu. Like, dude, you are not even, because if you say ancestry, you're not even from that region. You don't have anything to do with those people. Through bloodline, my ancestors are from around that region. I'm talking about in the middle of it. But the things I hear and what the reality is are two completely different things. They live in fantasy. They're living in fantasy. And when you try to have a good conversation, you ask questions, they keep backpedaling. They start deflecting. They get upset. And you guys don't find it weird about all these groups that I've just mentioned, that they exist. This is all within the black group. Some are Indians. Some of them say they are Indians. But yet, you say you are an Indian. Why are you wasting your breath to come and argue with people that consider themselves to be black African, to try to convince them of how you are such an Indian? Does it make sense, people? Does it make sense? So this is why I always bring these things out. Yeah, I understand. They are entertaining. They can be entertaining, but it's edutainment. I want you to see how silly this is. And then they also have an idea to say, the African religion. What is the African religion? What is it? They can't tell you anything. They say, oh, voodoo. Really? I guess if Haiti is any example to you, you would see that, what voodoo is doing to Haiti. If you are openly defiant to God, when God turns his back on you, don't be surprised. So they are selling this idea. This is why if you look on the thumbnail, what I'm showing you there, like these people are talking about idol worshiping. Most Africans that I know, especially where I'm from, our region, people believe in God, the oneness of God. They don't believe in all this voodoo stuff. Now, you want to go there and try to push this idea. It's not going to work. Or they say, oh, we want to change the language. How are you going to change people's language? So I know I give it to you in an entertaining form, but think about it deeply. Think about these things that I'm saying to you. It's like the lost sheep in the desert. It's always new groups coming off of them, new groups. But I'm going to play a conversation that I had, and we'll continue the conversation so you guys see exactly, what I'm talking about. I'll play it and kick back. We watch it together. Tonight,
Go ahead.
keep saying, my people, my people, my people. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. The reality of the world is, this is what it is. Some people are
But
just more, oh,
somehow,
wait a minute. Some people are just more capable than others. Plain and simple. It's the truth. Because I don't want it, let's not sit here and pretend. Tons of Africans travel outside of Africa. They're not jumping other countries' borders. They are going there legally. Legally. Just like me. So I'm not gonna sit here, and you guys making it seem like the only way, Africans, or black, whatever, the only way they, move around, is like, they have to do this illegal stuff. That's not the reality. Or to say they are restricting everybody. That's not the fact. This is just like you yourself said it earlier. This is the way of the world. Plain and simple.
yeah, but that doesn't mean you accept that for your people.
I didn't accept what?
To say that, okay, it's okay for people to be restricted, and it's okay that you hate
No, he
this
didn't say
illegal
that.
migrant.
You
No,
Oh,
no,
misunderstood
so
him.
because he said he hates illegal immigration. It doesn't matter from whom. That is what I'm trying to let him understand, that the other people, the reason why you hate illegal immigration, in reality, it doesn't catch the other group. The other group is free to move. That illegal immigration is only meant for you.
you see the type of argument he's trying to make, which doesn't make any sense. So, straw man argument, he would formulate his own argument that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And then again, like I said, pushing the victimhood mentality. See, when I growing up, people I know, Africans, yes, somebody outside might in their head see us and think that Africans are victims. But people that I know don't think this way. We truly believe in our own efforts, and what we should do is we understand that the world doesn't operate the way you as an individual think it should be, because it doesn't revolve around you. You gotta you gotta get in where you fit in. But now when you start crying, saying it is other people's fault for not formulating, making things look better for you, that's not how life works. You cannot sit there with a straight face saying it is okay for people, complete strangers, to just come and bomb rush, for example, your house or your home. Even African countries have very restrictive border control if they could. They're not just going to allow just people, anyone, to just come and walk straight, into their country and just say, I'm here to stay. That's not how life works. And of course, if you have a country where it's attractive, the economy is great, you're going to attract a whole bunch of people. People are going to want to come there. So they have to put standards in place so that they can control the amount of people that can enter that country. So if you don't like that, for instance, like you want me to worry about people who I don't know, I don't even know if they exist. You want me to worry about those people because they couldn't come to where I'm at. How do you know everybody wants to come there? I don't know this. But see, they speak on both sides of their mouth. You notice even here when I put up the flag and said, oh, I love America, I'm proud of being American, people get butt hurt. But then when I say, yes, America should build their wall and stop people from coming in, then they cry about that too. Which one is it? You see? So that's the argument he's trying to put forward, which it just doesn't make sense. I'll allow him to keep talking.
Just like when they say international war crime, it's only meant for people that lose wars.
You're
When you win a war,
him.
nobody cares about war crimes.
So, to Naja,
You're misunderstanding him. He didn't say that. He's saying that if
why people get deported from the United States all the time over here?
That's what he doesn't know. He's just running his mouth.
Talking about they are free to
Not a large number.
That's not true. How do you know that?
Not a large number. I know that for sure.
Niger, you don't.
They can't. They're stuck in America to go to Africa, right?
You're able to divide. But I'm just
a man who he was easy and he's like, I like them.
White people.
Sorry guys, I accidentally fast forwarded. But what he is saying, again, you guys know this yesterday, the guy that called me from the UK again. I don't know what life is like for most of these African immigrants in the UK, but we never hear them talk about how their life is there or what things are like there. But they are mostly focused on talking about America. It's if you hear them speak, you would think they live in America. So he's speaking on America's immigration, policy or what's going on. And he's trying to argue with people that live in the country and see what is actually going on. So now you guys understand the point I was trying to drive home in yesterday's video. This is a mental issue. This is mental issue. This is not normal. It is not normal. But this is all done in the name of Pan-Africanism. And they believe they are given the license to say these things because based on skin color. So he's going to try to make skin color argument here to say, oh, it is black, darker people that they deport from, the United States more. Dude, you don't have to take our word for it. Just go look. This is recorded. You would clearly see the groups of people that are mostly deported out of the United States. They are not black. I'm not saying, black people, darker skinned Africans or from other places are not deported. But you could look, this is recorded. You could see this. In America, when you think immigrant, you're not even thinking a black person. They look at, Latin person. So what are you talking about? But we'll get to further identity crisis. I promise you.
But do you know they cannot move freely? They can't. There are certain jobs they can't get.
Nah, he.
Yeah, we are
They
here
they
with
are
Anyway,
them. We
in
know exactly
Hollywood
how
all
they
over the
feel.
place, making movies everywhere.
nah,
Listen,
he's no. You're misunderstanding what Afrodamus is saying. From what I understand, what Afrodamus is saying, look, we got these people from the diaspora who come to Gambia and suddenly try to demand citizenship, try to influence change in constitution. The question is that right? And I don't know, is that that's what you meant, right?
Right.
Afrodamus?
Right.
Right.
I completely agree with you that no, it's not right. But I'm trying to give a different angle as to why these people think they should be given that um, um, automatic citizenship, which is kind of it's not gonna work. It doesn't work, right? Um, I completely disagree with that, but I can definitely see what they're trying to do. There are people this African descent who are trying to they want us to become more patriotic and hopefully, fix our continent. And they feel like part of the only way we can do that is through unification. And but obviously we can see that some of them are fraud, right? They're
Of
actually, and I
course.
remember earlier on, Afrodamus, you were asking him the question, do you love white people? And he's like, I like them, I have no problem with them. And then you ask them, if a black person does something, does it affect you? It's a very weird question because yeah, like if a black person gets shot in a way that's unfair, like we see in America, it affects all of us, right? Now, if a black person
How
does
does that
something
how
that
does that affect you?
no, it affects. Okay, for example, the situation of George Floyd, where he's getting his neck broken for 9 minutes, right? Um, Clearly in the video, it seems like it's unnecessary. I never saw him fight, and if he did, they didn't show that part of the video. I just saw a man who was kind of crying sometimes. I saw a man who seemed he was easily let off the car and put on the ground. So you have to ask a lot of questions and then conclude what would the reason why this person would do this. Now, we can all say it's
That
racist,
that happened to
I knew
George Floyd.
he wasn't drugs.
right? But I
That's why he
feel
was
I
doing
feel
those things.
connected to it. And I feel like sometimes like I gather from you that you don't have that feeling when you see these black people feel that way after
No,
damage.
when
I don't
I
know.
if it's
But
not
I feel
my thing is right. I don't
Mhm.
like to, delude myself into like George Floyd was the one feeling that anybody else acting any other way, they just pretending. Nobody knows what that feel like. He was the one feeling the pain. He was the one that died.
I disagree.
Obviously it's a sight that is terrible. Nobody is saying
No.
that's a good thing whatsoever.
Okay.
So for you to internalize that, that's just weird.
No, it's not weird because all if you look at this planet that we live in, you will notice that animals, a lot of creatures, animals live together.
Hmm.
Why do they live together? They're not living together for the sake of like living together.
So you're equating yourself, a human being,
No, I'm not
to
equating.
the
This is a
to the to
fact.
the
We see all over
okay.
nature.
So
Like,
you're
for example, if
equating
you go,
equating yourself to animals.
I'm stating a fact. It's all
Okay,
over nature.
well,
Okay,
because
for
we are
example, if you go
humans,
to,
right? We are human beings.
but we have the same behavior. We
No,
live together to
okay.
protect
Wait
one
a
another.
minute. So if you see the same thing, a cop, you know, choking a white person, a Chinese person, right?
Hmm.
Um, are you so you're not gonna feel the same type of feeling?
Actually, I feel there. Actually, I'll give you an example of something that happened to a white person that really made me sad, and it made me sad for all of America. Okay, there are two incidents. Sorry, I can't remember. There's no title for this, but there was a situation in the United States where the police went into a building, right?
I
And
know that video, Tony Temple, but
well,
but
what
I'm just asking if
I'm trying to explain to you how I felt about it. Like it touched me. right? Because you asked me a question: if a Chinese person or white person gets killed by a police or mistreated, do I feel it? And I'm gonna give you an example. And I do feel it, right? First of all, I do feel it because nobody should be treated that way, regardless of their color. And and sometimes I feel like even racist people don't act out of race, but out of like maybe they feel like more powerful than the other person and they just want to like exercise it.
So
But
you
anyway, let
think?
me end the
Wait, you
question.
think it's race based, right? Let me give you this. Have you
No, no,
ever
let
heard
me
of?
answer your question
Wait.
before we
Okay.
because if I don't answer your question, you're gonna like we're gonna move on and then I'm gonna miss my
Yeah,
point.
if you
And
can
I
make it fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this situation, what happened was the guy in the building, I think it was a hotel room. He had a fake gun. It was like a plastic gun, and somebody called the police and said there's a man with a gun by the window. So the police go in, and then they're telling him, "Put your hands up." He put his hands up.
So
There's
you're talking
he's like,
about the one in Arizona.
I think so. I can't remember what
Mhm.
state. So anyway, he was giving him all these weird instructions. The guy's pants was falling down, and then he shoots them, right? And then it made me go crazy. That's a white guy. And I'm like, why would you do that? Right? It was like, it made me so upset for a long time. The second situation, I'll be quick, is that there was a mass shooting, right? By a white guy. And he shot up a whole bunch of children. And 99% of them was white. The only person was half mixed black. And that made me really sad because it made me wonder if a white person was able to do this to a bunch of white kids and gets away with it by their society, what is wrong with them? Right now, so right there, I
He
feel
he you
I
saying
don't
he
want to.
shot people and got away with it. He wasn't arrested, none of that.
He was punished, like I believe he was punished for it, like he got sentenced. But what I'm saying is, in the end, you know what they said? Let's pray to God for help, or let's pray to the Lord. Why
So
pray to the Lord?
you didn't you disagree that they pray to the Lord. So do you think
No, I'm
this
trying to say, you're
huh?
asking me, do I feel it? And I'm saying that the fact that they're not even acting in terms of controlling their gun laws to protect their own self, and to me is crazy, because you would
The
think that,
gun
oh,
laws.
because of,
So you're not in America. You're not a US citizen, right?
no, I'm not.
Okay, so somebody shoots some kids here in this country in America. It is our Second Amendment right, to
Right,
bear arms, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
somebody shoots some kid, shootings happen. You want the United States to change the gun laws. Change
Well,
them to
do you know
what?
I can't, I'm not there to decide their laws, but what I'm saying is they should do something to improve their society, and the killing
So
instead
so
of
do
like
you
always
so so
going
so
to God
people
for.
people don't get killed in Canada?
It doesn't happen like that, man. We don't have mass shooting. Have you heard it on the news? Have you?
So how often does so when people are committed doing mass shootings in Chicago, does that boil your blood too?
I feel it. I definitely feel it for them. It doesn't matter what race they are. I feel it for them,
Hmm,
period.
hmm.
And I believe that what Afrodamus you misunderstand it about what this guy is trying to say is, look, like in nature, all
So
things.
wait a minute. So like in Africa, majority is black, right? Africans.
Right. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think so when like police, for example, brutalize other Africans, what is that based on?
I seen the way the Nigerian thing dealt with their people. It's not about race. It's about, a bunch
Culture.
of thugs. Yeah, it's
So
cultural.
It's
And
about the
and
culture
so
that they were
hmm.
raised in this in the Africa.
Wait,
Remember,
wait. Let him speak. Let him
okay,
speak.
because
So,
yes.
so, so, according to you, right?
Mhm.
If race mattered, police, it's about this race thing. People that are the same race, that would mean white people would never suffer police brutality from white cops, and Africa. You yourself gave example like
Actually, I have
Nigeria.
a better question for you. I have a better question for you.
Well. Let's.
I'm coming.
I'll let you. I'll let you ask me.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I want us to clear this part first.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean, can you mute yourself for a second, real quick? So that would mean that they do not.
Still echoing.
Hold on. That would mean they do not. Like if there's race, then the race, like this stuff wouldn't happen with similar people, right?
Yes.
It no. It if even look, things will still happen even without race, because human beings, they always seem to find something to judge. Like for example, if you have two people with freckles in your class, okay, all of a sudden the people who don't have freckles are going to start making fun of the person with freckles, right? but but at the same time, we cannot outright say, oh,
So
um
you've seen Nigerians talking about this SARS thing, where they are getting brutalized big time, worse than even the United States. This is black people, same country, everybody black. What is that based on?
first of all, I don't can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. First of all, I cannot 100% speak on Nigeria because I never lived there. I just
Yeah,
see
but
what I see.
well, you see human
But I'm
beings.
going to answer. I'm going to answer, but I think my answer just applies generally. Okay. Now, like I told you before, human behaviors, things are not always about race, but certain things there are. Okay. Like, for example, in Nigeria, you said SARS, right? Their situation is that it's not about race, it's more about corruption and police who are just robbing people because the government is not paying their wages. So police are just resorting to many ways to collect money. It's not about race, right? But actually, some of it is also ethnic. For example, they have the Igbos and then they have the what do you call it? The other ethnic groups, which they don't get along because the president is not doing things to protect them. I cannot go too deep into it because I don't have enough information to try to defend make claims, right?
Okay.
So now,
Well, well,
but
thank you.
what I'm trying to say is, certain things are not always about race, but there are things that are about race. But
Yeah.
the question I wanted actually, did that answer your question?
You tried, but hey, that's your answer. We'll go with it.
Mhm. Can I take
Okay,
a
okay.
crack
Let
at
me try.
the last one?
Tuna, yeah, you'll get a
That
chance.
one is about Nigeria, you see.
I'll let you speak.
Okay.
Go ahead. Milk.
Oh, um, you mean the question that I was gonna ask you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So, you're saying that it's not race all never has anything to do with it. Is that
I
is
don't.
that your position?
I'm not in
Can
the.
you name what?
What?
Um, from my understanding, it appears that you feel that race never has anything to do with anything.
I'm
That's
not
not
in the.
really my question.
I'm not in the guy's mind. That's not what he said. So I'm not gonna.
No, no, you, not you.
What
When
about
you
what?
look around, you, the environment, everything you see going on around you in the world, like America, anywhere, do you think everything is always like, oh, there's no race involved? Do you think everything is always rosy?
I don't think along those lines. So I
I think you're
just.
just denying it.
Huh?
Okay, I'll give you an example. I remember Biden when they started having those Asian so-called attacks in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
They came out with a bill. It's called the Asian, I think it's called the Asian what is it called? Act? Like something to you probably know it, the Asian Protection Act, the bill that's supposed to um protect Asians. Do you remember it?
I don't.
I do.
What about it?
No, you need to know it because the reason why in that bill he listed all the races, ethnic groups that this bill is supposed to protect, right? The question is, why would one write a bill that's so blatant like that and nothing like that for black people? I mean, I don't. To me, I call it the human. Anyway, the bottom line is what I want to know from you is
By the way, I was very much aware of of the bill, but I was just trying to push through the conversation because it's irrelevant. But you see, both these people are not even in America, but their focus and energy is to point fingers at what is going on in America. Did you see how quickly Tuna just said, I know about it. But why are you focusing on bills that are in America when you don't live in America and you are not an American? But we'll continue.
why would the government literally write a bill that includes lists all the ethnic groups where if you do this, you get this specific type of punishment.
Just like the same government trying to force people to put stuff in their body that they don't want to. These people don't understand the dynamics of a country. So just because the government is doing that, do you think, all white, so because the government is doing it, so therefore that's white people? This is how these people think. Yes, the president is white, but that doesn't mean he represents every white person. You think every white person in America is like, oh yeah, I'm supporting him because I'm white. They tend to forget that it was two white people running for office. But somehow, even if you choose another white person, you will be called, quote unquote, a racist. But it's two white people. What do you mean, I'm racist for choosing another white person? So this is how these people think. We're talking about one thing here, so he's all over the place. And you would see this all through this conversation.
If
Mm,
isn't that
to divide and conquer, to rule the people because they are evil. I can go on and on and on.
but so you're saying that it's just a divide and conquer, but it has nothing to do with race.
Nope, because they know that there's people out
Yeah, I think
there who think that way, who see everything through the prisms of the lens of race. So therefore, they're going to use it to divide because they want to force Asians into becoming, a new victim class. Period. Because when you are able
Damas,
to,
I know the real reason if you let me answer that,
when you
or
are
one of the
able
real
to,
reasons.
when you are able to divide the people,
I can agree
you know,
with that.
when you're, because you have to remember government, especially the wicked government that's running the states today. Whatever they do, don't think that they're doing it in the interests of people. I
Oh,
mean, think
I
about
can
it. This
agree.
is this is the same people pushing pushing for abortion. This is the same people pushing for abortion. People murdering their own babies inside. Women allow women to kill their own babies inside of them. And they said, your body, your choice. You know, and and then they tell you gotta take the jab. You don't have a choice. It's not your body, your choice. Think about all that. How is that even making any sense? So when it comes to government, don't think that they are doing anything to benefit anyone. It's a strategic move, and whatever they're doing, it is benefiting them.
I agree with
Play,
that.
yeah, plain and
But
simple. They're not gonna, they're not gonna do things, just because they like people, whatever. That's not what it is.
Okay. To say race doesn't matter in their pursuits of policies is extremely this thing for me almost like blindsided if you cannot see the actions
Yeah.
that they take every day to ensure their people.
Mind you, this is a guy from Nigeria. 200 over 200 million strong black people. 200 million. But he moved living in white country and complaining about race. Make this make sense for me. You left over 200 million black people from wherever you came from. 200 million of them there. If you throw a stone, you would hit one every single time. But yet you are saying you're so obsessed with race, everything is race, race, race. Why do you live in a society that have different race than you? There are two types of people in the world. People that, life is so comfortable, no problem. They go look for problems or create problems in their minds because they think, it's called projection. They think other people are looking at them that way. So this is why when I speak here, it's weird how people, this might be weird to some of you. They would say, oh, we're loving people. We're godly people. We're loving. God is love, right? God is supposed to be about love. You're supposed to love everyone. But you would see, they would think it's a diss to say, oh, Afridamus loves white people. That is supposed to be an insult. What, I'm not supposed to love white people? But this is how these people think. You cannot tell me if you hate one, you hate all. Because if you openly, you hating white people today in front of me, guess what? You hate me too, because you're going to find some excuse because the hatred is in your heart. If there's no white man around, guess who you're gonna hate? Me. So you cannot tell me that you expressing this, basing things on skin color. You're not even ashamed to say you hate white people openly, and you want to convince me that you have love? Come on, man. That's not how reality works. This is why I say you cannot, that's why they never mention God or anything like that. Hate is hate, point blank.
All are protected via NATO, all the establishment, all the institutions that they created around the world to maintain the control that they have over our people. Look at this in Africa. It's not by coincidence that no African country has nuclear weapons. South Africa had one.
So countries build their own nuclear weapon. So it's not coincidence. Okay, these African countries, how many of them have the capability? So white people are supposed to create the nuclear weapons also and come and give it to Africans? Is that what you're telling me? I don't think he realizes there's tons of other white countries who don't have these weapons. So countries that can barely have infrastructure or can even feed the people, you want them to have nuclear weapons. If they want the nuclear weapon, let them create it, just like everyone else created it. But you see how this is why I said I am the counter programming to these silly arguments they bring. People don't push back on them. So literally you are saying Africa don't have these things that other people created for themselves. So if Africa wanted it so bad, why don't Africa, create it for themselves, just like other people did? It's like saying, oh, you're pissed off at people that have wives because you don't have a wife. So now you want to hold them accountable. Since you have a wife, you should help me also get a wife. You guys see, what I'm trying to, what I'm shining light on here? So this is what they sell to you, the African. They call it Pan-Africanism. It's a victimhood mentality, broken mentality. It's pathetic at best. But let's hear our expert, nuclear person here.
And then the moment they saw that Mandela was coming in, oh, you know what? They disarmed.
Tunisia.
Go there.
Tunisia.
We should
African
even go
countries
there.
can barely feed their people. They cannot create
Okay,
no
you see,
nuclear.
that's the
But
cliche.
hold
That's the
on.
cliche. North
Hold on.
Korea has it. They
Wait a minute.
cannot barely. They can barely feed their people too. Let me
Okay,
finish my
Tunisia.
point.
Wait,
I'm just trying to
Tunisia.
show you the pattern of
Tunisia,
how
hold
they
on,
make
hold
decisions
on.
based
Give
on
me a
race.
second. Hold on. You've been talking for a while. Let's allow the new guest, Nakmizi.
Seriously, you don't want me to
Yeah.
finish my point first?
Well, you will have your chance, because he was
Okay.
supposed to talk and you cut in. Mimi is asking if I don't know the Asian bill. Mimi, do you honestly believe that I do not know about it? I read everything. Go ahead, Nakmizi.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We're in the evening here. Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
okay. Thank you for having me. It's morning here. I've been at work for an hour already. But
Uh-huh.
so where we starting? Let's talk about the Asian bill, right? It's obviously, there's a sense of division there. Am I echoing?
Somebody's echo. Hold on. Let me see. Go ahead.
Okay, now I think I should be good now. So it's obviously a sense of division there, and it's also Biden understanding that Asians hold political power in America. When you think Asians, you think business. When you think business, you think money. So I'm pretty sure that small minority of Asians who have a really big business voice, somebody got into their ear and politically forced him to write a bill with only their name on it. Okay, so that's what it was about. It's political power moves and also political pandering, dissension, and until Black Americans understand that we have to take political power, and to get political power, you're going to have to do what? Have that bag of money. Every other people understand that except my people. So
Money,
thank you
money,
for having
money,
me, and let's talk
money,
about
money
Middle East.
talks, money talks, bullshit walks. But Nagmizi, I want to ask you
Exactly.
this. Nagmizi, you being an American citizen of black hue, are you in favor of people breaking the laws of the United States, coming into the United States uninvited, regardless of their skin color?
Absolutely 100% not. And I'll tell you why. While I might look at Haitians and say their forefathers took the same trip as my forefathers and feel for them. I have friends that are Haitians, but a nation without a border is not a nation.
Right.
So I am against it. I am for having them go through the same channels and getting the same opportunities as people from other nations. But no, just to say like, oh, because they're black, that they should come in and then, just come in a country just unvetted, unchecked. No, I don't agree with that. And look, we're not the same people. This Pan African pie in the sky narrative, it has run its course. If in the chat, if there's a majority Africans in the chat, I like to know what percentage of them are actually Pan Africans. I would think that it's the minority of Africans that are actually Pan Africans. But
Right.
I've had friends, business partners that were Haitian. First Bentley I ever rode in was owned by a Haitian. Okay, so I'm cool with Haitians. But when they invite me to their weddings, when they invite me to their houses to eat, I respectfully decline because it's awkward. You know why it's awkward? Because we're not the same people. I'd rather keep my business as my business and my personal as my personal. My personal business is 99% of the time with people from my ethnic group, Black Americans. It doesn't mean that I hate anyone else. It's just that there's no getting to know each other. There's no cultural differences that we have to deal with. I understand how a Southern Black American thinks versus a New Yorker versus someone from the West Coast or even the Midwest. We understand each other. and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. It's not xenophobic. It's actually natural. It's actually
Absolutely.
natural. If I were to put you in a conversation with someone from your country, you guys can go nonstop and nonstop and nonstop
Mm-hmm.
and have
Mm-hmm.
actual, real, meaningful, organic conversations. A lot of these
Right.
conversations between diasporans and Africans in the realm of Pan Africanism is based on a kumbaya. We're all one, pie in the sky. Let's act like everything's okay until the truth will actually come bubbling to the top, and then you have a shit show.
Another counter thinking to the programming they're trying to push onto you. Like Mizzy said it, I mean, like, he said it best. It's as if he was even watching the program from the beginning, but he said it best. He's right. Pie in the sky mentality. The conversations are not based in truth. They are just based in this quote unquote kumbaya thing. It's not real. So this is why when I bring the real conversation here, it's just it doesn't make sense. Visionary of love. When you say refugees, you do realize if you're referring to those Haitians, when did the earthquake happen and how many countries are between Haiti and the United States? These people were living in another country for years prior, already working there, and even some of them having businesses. So, yes, even refugees, especially African refugees that come here, they still need a visa. That's how it works. The media is just misleading you to make it seem, some type of way, but somebody somebody has an agenda that is pushing this, just like they opened up Europe through the Mediterranean to allow people to just come in. I hope you don't think that's just a coincidence. Someone is behind this, and they try to tap into people's quote unquote, oh, have some sympathy, blah blah blah, but you gotta look way beyond what is right in front of you and see the real picture. Exactly. I totally agree because even because they said it's about Africans whatsoever. For instance, like even here, like mostly, let's say, if there's like parties, you know, like if I know, let's say I go to like a Ethiopian party, you know, I mean, there's gonna be food, whatever, but it's not good. I'm not gonna have as much of a good time there and fit in, like if I go to a Gambian party, you see? Because when I go to Gambian party, all the foods will be familiar to me. The people, will be able to talk and speak, like basically our sense of humors and everything would be the same, you see? So that's just human nature. So when they are pushing these ideas, you know, it's definitely, it just makes me laugh, to be quite honest, because it is not realistic,
Yeah,
you
one
know.
hundred percent, and that's why I can agree with you because you always speak from a place of truth, even though sometimes the truth they sting, they hurt.
Hmm.
Uncomfortable truths need to be told. People need to be woken up and shaken out of their slumber of fake unity, of fake oneness, and focus on their people, their needs, their political powers, and things like that of that nature. I want to
Right.
talk about this Sierra Leone real quick, and I know this is it's kind of on topic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
it's
Sierra
still along
Leone.
this line.
Okay, it's actually about citizenship, right? This isn't
Hmm.
automatic. This is citizenship based on having lineage to Sierra Leone. That is so hard to prove because of migration patterns, intermarrying. It's the social structure of an ethnic group, right? But do you know that that Sierra Leone is only using African ancestries DNA test to say that you couldn't have citizenship. So don't
I
you think
read that.
within that relationship there'd be a lot of room for corruption, for cooking the books, right? How many
You
people can
know,
you send to us? How many people can we send to African ancestry to take that test? And their estimates,
Not
their
easy.
estimates.
Yesterday, was it yesterday or a couple days ago? This conversation came on, and I raised this exact point along those lines. Tunaja was present in this conversation, by the way. And as usual, because this quote unquote Pan Africanist, which for many the Africans that tout this Pan Africanist thing, to me, I see it's not even real, it's fake, because they cannot be real about this, knowing exactly about the dynamics of things. So I just take it with a grain of salt, because it's not realistic. But I raised this, and you know what they do. They will say, "Where's the proof? Where's this?" There's tons. It's suspicious to have, you know, a DNA, just one DNA company to do this, and it shows certain, ethnic group. That's pretty weird. Black people in the diaspora, because they have Nigerian ancestry, if we're going to be honest, because
Mhm.
most slaves that were shipped back then were from there. Congo, Angola, even Cameroon, Mali, you see. But how come, these DNAs are just mostly showing these smaller countries?
Yeah, it's a
you
great
know
question
yeah, how
because
come
they
it's
this is look, I looked at
can
that
I
because
say
my
something?
hold on, Tunaja, let
hold
him
on, bro,
finish
hold
real
on.
quick.
You've been talking for like 4 hours, brother. Um,
So,
so look,
but you're not
I
here.
have the
So,
23 and
Tunaja, let him finish, please.
he has been
so
playing for
look,
three
I have.
sessions.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now I've had the 23andMe and I took another one just for shits and giggles, right? So the other one is being processed now. But if you notice on the 23andMe, it'll say Sierra Leone, Ghana, and like another country, right? And then it'll have below that Nigeria, and then it'll give you a breakdown of Congo. So a lot
Right.
of these tests are based on where they have access to take samples from, okay? Because they need a population base that they can take samples from, or yeah, a base or a data bank, and then they compare your results to theirs. And they use words like broad, estimate, entertainment purposes only type of shit, right?
Uh-huh.
So these things aren't, while there's science based on it, right? But there's literally, if you have common sense, there's no way to tell how someone like me, who's a descendant of people that were enslaved within chattel slavery, that there were
Mm-hmm.
slave farms, there were intermixing tribal, racial, to say that 500 years later, you can tell what tribe I'm from, and therefore I can go to this place and say, well, I'm one of you guys, crying on
Mm-hmm.
video. I saw my cousin, right? Crying on video because you connected with someone that you don't even know, have no real connections. Let's keep it real. There's people in my immediate family that I can't stand. I've had family members that I have to frisk before I allow them to get into my vehicle. Family members that I wouldn't allow to come into my house. So I'm
Right.
supposed to ignore that and just make this fake bridge based on some, some science. It's based on science, but science that doesn't take into account the social constructs of ethnic groups on the continent from 500 years ago. Now I'll end with this. There was a point that Tunaja made about everyone sold everyone, right? Look, there's a good amount of truth to that. But based on these empires, kingdoms, you had powerful kingdoms, then
Mm-hmm.
you had weaker kingdoms, you had powerful ethnic groups, and weaker ethnic groups. As far as the Mendicants were concerned, they would, if they sometimes they wouldn't kill the warriors. They say, "Yo, get down with us," and they'd make them stronger. So there's just this mix. There's intermarrying. There's a slavery. It's very mixed up. But the powerful kingdoms did not take the same amount of slaves as the weaker kingdoms. Okay, so there were heavy hitters in this game. So you can't say that every single ethnic group in Africa had the same amount of responsibility for their role in that trade. For
You
that
know,
role in that trade.
I can say for sure, there are tribes 100%. You know, it's their principle. They never engaged in slavery. They, in fact, they fought, they defended. You know, you could see where they live. Even the Europeans wrote about it. In because you know, some of the cultures, for you to be able to sell your people first, you know, it didn't just happen overnight because the market was there. It's not like the Europeans came, people were not selling each other. It was already, you know, present with some tribes. They, you know, they have, you know, the enslaving culture, but there are tribes there who literally they don't have that culture at all. They don't even have the caste system within them, like literally.
Exactly, that was my point. You can't just say everyone did it because
Yeah.
it's more nuanced. When you look at the Sahelian countries, their traffic went to the north, which created the Berbers and the Moors and things of that nature. When you look at the West and Central, it was different. So you can't just make a blanket statement for a continent. But let me
Yeah,
jump off and I'll jump on. All
if
right,
you
I
go
gotta
to
jump
like,
on.
for example, you go to Gambia, you have the Jola, the Manjako people, you know, the Balanta. These people, yeah, some people might have captured some of their people, but these people they don't enslave each other at all. They don't have that culture, you know, especially the Jolas. They fought against this. They went far deep into the forest to get away from all that. They don't have that culture at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think that is not surprising that some cultures didn't practice it at all and did everything to avoid it. We've heard of cultures that fought to the end, and some of them even committed suicide and stuff like that. So I understand that it's like, the situation we are facing here is, I remember the Germans trying to apologize to Namibia for what their people did in Namibia, and people were like, no. But it's not all Germans that did it. But Germany also is apologizing for it. They apologize.
Isn't it funny how Tunaj, you know, a Pan-African is, right? All his examples of what humanity and excellence is, he hates white people so much, but all his examples that he considered to be good is always about, you know, what white people did. Always about white people. He cannot speak without white people, even though he thinks they are evil. But everything that is good, the example is them. I'll let him continue. I'm just showing you a pattern here. If you don't believe me, he's in many panels. Just listen to him. Whenever this come up, there's no way he can continue without talking about white people. And for him, okay, since Germany is one country in Europe. Since Germans apologized for what they did to a group of people, so Germany did that, not the other Europeans. What does what Germany did in Namibia have to do with, let's say, Sweden or Switzerland? What does it have to do with them? But according to him, just because they're all white, then it makes sense to him.
To the Jews, it's not all of them that did it, but they have to, because it's their nation that did it. Somebody has to do the apology. So we are not saying all Africans are guilty of it, obviously not. But we know, as a people, we did these things. Not every individual. Sometimes, whenever somebody wants to make an argument against some ideas of Pan-Africanism, they start picking and choosing what they want to
Well, I
pick
just
on.
gave you examples of several tribes who literally there is no proof they didn't bite the devil, they didn't shake hand with the devil. Mind you, these were not, nations of today. You speak of Germany, that's a unified nation. Their representative, which is their government, did this did this
Not this
these
government.
people. No, it was the German government. This was the German government that was putting people in
You know,
concentration
Germany
camps.
has changed borders several times since.
Well, I'm just saying, the German
Okay.
government did this in Namibia. We cannot dispute this. This is a fact, okay? We can look this up. So to say, for instance, something that a southern Nigerian tribe does, somebody who's a Jola all the way in the Gambia Casamas region, who totally, this is not their principle, they're totally opposed to this. To say that they have to, apologize for it, that's ridiculous.
No, they don't have. I didn't say they should apologize for it. I said the
Oh, oh,
African
oh, oh,
leaders,
oh, oh, oh,
the African leaders should own
oh,
up to
be
it.
held, oh, be held to it, to say
Because
all, no, you cannot say that. That's completely
they are not
ridiculous.
holding any particular tribe to it. Our
Well,
people,
but you keep saying
African
we,
leaders.
but you keep saying we.
But
There's no we in this.
stop.
But
You're picking
we
on
have a guy.
minutia here.
Hold on, we have Afro think tank, where you calling from?
What's going on? I'm calling from Washington D.C., America.
Th- Thank you for calling, for
You don't. You
joining
do
us.
not let me finish my point. Now
Well,
you just cut me
Tunaja,
off and bring
Tunaja,
some
this
other
guy,
person in.
Tunaja, we have
Fine,
new
go ahead.
guests. Let's allow new guests to speak too. We've been here 5 hours. I'm not
If you
gonna be here
don't,
all
okay,
night.
okay. Let me.
So he's gonna tries to make the argument. I don't know what the culture is like, over in Nigeria, the part where he's from, whatever happened there, but he is trying to put that on all of us. And we're not even from there. That's not these things you're saying, like, this is not what we do where we come from. But now you're saying Africans should apologize for slavery. When you could literally, the record shows, you could read books, you could hear stories. There is specific tribes that sold people. Like if you go to Ghana, they have those castles, right? Where the slavery was big, but you cannot say Ghanaians did this. But you can see clearly the groups that engage in that slavery. It's all written up. So, like, you see an ordinary Ghanaian and say, apologize for the slavery. What's that have to do with the Ghanaian? Just because they are from that territory. That doesn't make any sense. So that's what he's trying to push. Unless if directly you know your own people, your lineage, this is what they did, selling humans, then you should apologize if you're so inclined to. But don't tell other people, oh, because we're all from Africa, oh, we should. There are some places in Africa, there's cannibals there. Does that mean all Africans are cannibals? This doesn't make any sense.
House of them so you can carry on your discussion with them. There's no real need. If I'm not going to talk, there's no point. So thank you for having me anyway. Maybe you're tired of listening to me. You are entitled to it, so it's all good. You take care.
All right, thank you. All right, go ahead, Afro
right.
Think Tank.
Okay, well, I'm a Pan-Africanist, all right? I understand you don't have the same view or you don't agree with what you believe the Pan-Africans are about. And I know there are different types of Pan-Africans, right? Well, you got people that call themselves Pan-Africans, but they are really not Pan-African, right? We got a lot of those out.
He's about to tell us what Pan-Africanism is about. And you would hear a lot of, identity crisis here. You would know exactly where this is coming from. This is why I like pressing on, asking questions. Because you see, when, like when they get together, they're just talking the kumbaya stuff. That's what they call, oh man, we're doing so good. But the moment you're speaking about what is, hey, for them to make sense of what they're pushing, now that becomes a problem. You start seeing bunch of holes in what they're saying. I'll allow you to hear for yourself.
Me, I'm gonna tell you what I'm about. All right, I'm an African American, and I did my DNA. I did my DNA test, but I am uniquely. I have the ability to actually track my ancestors to the slave house in Lynchburg, Virginia, where the African man came and was recorded. So not every black person has that opportunity. All right. So I traced my ancestries to like y'all said, it's mostly Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Congo, and all that, right? I chose because I wanted to learn my history because I understand I'm an African. I consider myself an African who lives in America. I served in the United States Marine Corps and I've traveled all around the world.
Just what she obviously have drank the Kool-Aid. She said most enslaved Africans were seized. Seized by whom? Yes, the people that are sold, I'm sure they were seized in wars, but by other Africans. Unless if you want to tell me the white people came, they marched in, they went into the interior, captured Africans. If that's your story, by all means, let me know that as well. But that is not true, in fact. I happen to know a whole lot about, slave history, the Atlantic slave trade. You know, I study it and I continue to study it. That's not what happened. Okay, prior to the Europeans coming in that region, there was already slavery there. 500 years. The Trans-Saharan was going on for 500 years. So the Europeans came there, they found a market that was going on. So, just FYI.
In the war, I've done a lot of things and I've seen a lot of things that a lot of people will never get to see. Like for instance, the Taliban. I've been in the houses of Taliban leaders, and I've been on patrol with the Taliban to fight Al Qaeda and other Taliban people. So I've been in the politics, and I live in.
Right, African parasite. They they say these things as if African. So they're saying that Africans are just weak, unintelligent people, almost the level of animals. So some foreign people just came and snatched them. They couldn't help themselves. In many words, that's what they're saying when they say these things. But I don't think they're catching it. Oh, yeah, they came and snatched Africans. So what? Africans are not humans? Somebody can just come and snatch them? Millions of people? Come on now. That doesn't make sense.
DC, and I see the politics. So I'm heavily deep in all of that stuff. So my perspective comes from a worldly, knowledgeable perspective when I speak on things, and I understand there are different views. And your Afrodamus, I understand your viewpoint of what you're talking about. You come here and you're like, look, every African American can't just tell an African not to come here. There's no opportunity here. Obviously, America is the greatest freaking country on the planet, point bar none, and we have all the resources and opportunities to do anything we want as long as we work hard and do it. That's just a fact, point blank, full stop. But because like you came over here, you did your thing, right? Now I see an opportunity in Africa, right? I see an opportunity to build where there are lacking in certain areas, things that are here that we as African Americans we may take it for granted. I see the things that's lacking over there. I see that as a business opportunity for me, but not specifically just for me myself to enrich.
So you guys see how this guy, he's all nice here, right? But go watch. He made a video about me. In fact, I watched it. The guy is such a snake. He is such a snake. He came here acting all nice, but go watch his video he made about me. So the guy is a snake. The things he said about me, but he didn't say those here. Jiswadi said we were tricked. Okay, Jiswadi, you're not making this any better. So literally you're saying millions of Africans are not intelligent enough and they were tricked into slavery. Got it. But I don't even know what to say to this. This is ridiculous. But he's going to, this man, he's about to tell us his version of Pan Africanism. But when you go watch his video that he did about me, it's completely different. Completely different. And FYI, just why Africans on the coast had guns. Just so you know.
Self, but I also want to give back to who I see as my brothers and sisters over there and also benefit the economy. And on my channel, I actually tell African Americans, don't look at Africa. It's not a dream. These people are not, they're not, it's not like Wakanda. You're not going to Wakanda and they're going to be sitting there wearing all the beautiful things waiting for you.
Yes, this is Africa. That's Afro Think Tank. A guy named Afro Think Tank. That's him.
Throwing flowers at you, say, welcome back, brother and sister. I said, there's things going on over there you don't know about. There's politics, there's tribal issues, and everybody's trying to survive and eat just like you. I said, so when you go over there, you got to have a more realistic mindset about what you're trying to do, right? And don't go over there looking for a job, because what you're doing is you're taking a job from an African who needs a job. You're just like those immigrants who we talk about, don't want to come to America, taken away from our jobs. That's effectively what we would be doing if we go over there trying to escape America to go to Africa, right, for ourselves. That in itself is selfish, right? So I always tell my people, I say,
Pan-African Babel, okay?
if you're gonna go to Africa, if go there to build, go there to create jobs. If you're not creating nothing, you're just in the way.
Yeah, but let me interject here real quick.
Yeah.
Why would anyone? Because anyone that think they can go to leave America, a black person, it don't matter what type of job you're doing here. I would be curious to see, unless they are in, getting big contracts, high executive position, to say they are going to leave America and go to an African country to look for a job. That's not a come up.
Right. That is not.
That's definitely a downgrade, even if you're making minimum wage here in someplace in America.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be better off. So my my whole thing is it is a fantasy that people are trying to sell, and then these same people, maybe you are not doing that whatsoever, but it's like they want to force everyone just because you're simply black, like you have your own thinking, that doesn't mean I have to go along with that.
Correct.
You have your thinking, I have my thinking as an individual,
right?
And I respect your thinking. You can do what suits you best, but I should also be able to do what suits me best,
Right.
So if you're traveling across the Atlantic in the opposite direction, but now you're telling another person, these people are seeing you show up, obviously, to even think that you want to help. The best way to help this person, to say, they're in this condition that's destitute, is not as high, is to show them, hey, there's this place, America, everyone is going there to make it. If you can find your way there, you should go there. There's a lot more opportunities. Because people are individuals. I would think that's more of a Pan-Africanist thing, because the other guy was saying, because the Pan-Africanists know white people. Okay, great. You want to tell Africans about all this white supremacy stuff, but you're not telling them the other side too, the opportunities. So Africans are not benefiting. That's my whole point. Because that's not what they want to hear. They want to, because hey, okay, yeah, we all skin folks, but after that, then what?
Then what? Okay, yeah. I actually had a situation like that in Nigeria. I was on one of the buses, which is basically a minivan, and of course they recognized when they heard me talking that I was African American. So the girl came, she turned around and she was like, "Oh man, I want to come to America. We don't have any jobs here. We don't have nothing here. I'm coming there." And I was looking at her and I said, "Okay, you're right. We have jobs." But what I did, this is what I told her, because this is what I would tell any African coming to America. Yes, there is a system of racism in the country, but you can get over that, right? It's not going to stop you from doing anything you want to do. I said, but what you must understand is, yes, there are opportunities, but you got to work for it. You got it when you hit the ground, you got to be running because it's hard, and our system over here.
Again, you see, when they talk about Africans, these Pan-Africans, it's like they talk lecturing to a child. What African commonly who wants to come to America or leave is not already ready to hit the ground? Like, they know they gotta work when they get here. They already know this. What, you think they don't know all this stuff? They already know that. This is why most Africans would tell, look, they can come here with just a backpack and, you know, little money. All they need is to get in, have the opportunity. They know they're gonna work. That's why they want to come. But you see, every single one say, oh, I'm gonna go be an investor. But you've never been an investor in America. Or they want to grow food, or you've never been a farmer. So it's funny to me. Like, you're not doing anything that people in Africa themselves are not already doing. People there are doing it, and people that live even in the diaspora, Africans like myself and others that live here, are already doing this stuff many, many years prior to you. So what are you talking about?
Is bill based. I said, so you're going to have a thing called recurring bills. It's going to add up. So you got to be able to have money to sustain yourself while you're doing what you want to do. Because that's the difference.
Exactly, Bantu Queen.
Because over there, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. Over here, if we ain't got it, we can borrow it. And that's a whole nother system that they have to be prepared for. Because if they come to America and they're not prepared for that credit system, they could get caught in that trap. And there's a lot of Africans over here that's caught in that trap of being in debt, you know, and they can't get out of it. And they're stuck. They can't even get home if they wanted to buy a ticket, right? But I also tell African Americans, if you want to go to Africa, if you don't already have money, you need American money to make it in Africa. You got to take your American money, your reoccurring money, and you go to Africa and start a business and create income like that in the economy. Because you're not just going to take your savings, even if you got $100,000, you're not going to go to any African country with $100,000 and say, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to live, and I'm going to be straight. That's not going to work because it's not as cheap as people think it really is, you know?
Right.
Things are a low cost. So, you know, I try to keep it real. Now, I'm not trying to, and I notice a lot of African Americans who are disenfranchised with, or they feel a certain way about Africans. You know, I bang on them too because I don't like the fact that they disrespect my brothers and sisters for no reason because they don't have a reason for it. They're just coming into this wokeness or whatever you call it. Don't mean they understand what's going on, and they're disrespecting the people that they should see as their allies. If they don't see them as their brothers, see them as your cousins, whatever. I don't care when you think you got here, whatever. They're your brothers, right? They should be your brothers, and we should work together economically. I believe, as a Pan-African, my motive, I don't believe I have to escape America because we built this country. African Americans built this country and created the environment through blood, sweat, and tears for all other immigrants to come to this country and thrive. Because without our accomplishments, none of you guys would be able to come over here and do any of that, right? And Africans need to understand that and understand our relationship with Europeans are different from yours.
So, without black people in America, Africans wouldn't come here. Somehow, when they speak, people like them, they forget that the same ancestors that he's talking about. This is why he's going in the opposite direction. They are from Africa. So how can you then turn around and say, oh, without us today, the Africans cannot come here? No, without those Africans, you wouldn't be in existence. Because if you say those are the people you came from, you see what they are saying? So already, they are debunking their own argument. They're debunking their own argument. So I'm not even going to get into this thing to say they built America. Because what your ancestors did and what you did are two completely different things. But, you know, we'll continue. You know, and it's funny. To me, it's weird how people living today are so obsessed about the past to say, oh, what my ancestors, what are you doing today? Like, what are you doing? What are you building in America today? That's what we want to know. That's what matters, because you're living now. The past is the past. What about today? And even in Africa and other places, slaves still exist. A whole nation, Mauritania, they got slavery going on there. And I'm shocked, even like Nigeria, even in some parts of Ghana, several places, they have slavery. But somehow these people are like, you know what? No, or North Africa, in the Middle East. You know what? Who cares about present day slaves? Those guys are not suffering. The time they would suffer is when they die. When they die, that's when they would suffer. Isn't this weird to you guys? You said you want to cry about something that is so terrible, but it's still going on. If you're so true about it, don't you think you would focus your energy on fighting it, to help rescue people who are still actual slaves? I mean, literally. I mean, we're sitting over here, these iPhones we have and stuff. They have children in China. They are literally slaves, making all our this fancy electronics we have, our Nikes, or our clothes and stuff we're wearing. It's literally, the way they describe it, it's like slave condition. You have the Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps, almost like Nazi style. They are shaving their heads, selling it into the black market. But you want to convince me that you are so distraught and want to stand up against slavery. Okay, I'll take your word for it. But let's hear more.
Because with all the disrespect and with all the things that they do to us, we know them better than you do. Because the face of our oppression is white. The face of your oppression looks just like you. So when you come here,
Yeah, but you see, that's the man is so oppressed. He's able to afford tickets. He's to fly around the world, thousands of miles away. But he's oppressed, and also, in his head, he's made it in his head that, okay, yeah, if you say you know your oppressor better, cool. Maybe hey, I don't have any oppressor, so I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe in your head you have your own oppressor. So I'm not in your head. You know what's going on in your head. But somehow it's nothing to uplift you. Oh, I have an oppressor, so that means you also have an oppressor because you're black just like me. No, 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 no. That's not reality. Where, like, I disagree with you because, again, because I don't know if you missed the beginning of the show. That's what I keep saying. People, just because you have the same skin color with somebody doesn't mean they share the same experience. They went through the same
okay,
thing as you.
yeah,
Because you cannot just assume that, you see somebody, they are black, their mindset is they have a oppressor. No one is oppressing me. No one has ever oppressed me. You see? So that's just how I see things. I operate, you know, as an individual, I have my own thoughts. I'm not thinking in a group with, like I don't think that way, because
right,
that's not what my experience is. I just see myself as a free human being with my
right.
own thoughts,
In
and
America,
even when I was in Africa, no one was oppressing me. I'm a free individual. Things are not, you know, like I'm not sitting. I've never sat there pitying myself, whatever. Even with whatever was around, I've witnessed in civil war, whatever. It's never been something that I see as a slight against me. That's just what life is. Stuff happens, I move on to the next. That's just how life works, for me, in my case.
right,
I'm not like internalizing things or dwelling on things. I understand, things happen in life, but that's not my story. So I'm not going to pretend, to align with somebody just to pretend and act like, oh, We are in this together. Oh, people talk about colonialism and stuff. Yeah, that happened in Africa, but I wasn't born. I wasn't even alive. So I can only focus on my own life, what I witnessed, because I cannot live another person's life. I can only live my own life. You see?
That's an American trait, right? But the
Well,
reason
that's that's
why,
how that's how
and
I've
yeah,
always that's how
it,
I've always lived my life from
yeah, from
from
just
you know
okay. But
from
what we with all in it, you don't have to like Pan Africanism is not everybody kumbaya with the same thought, with the same mindset, trying to do the same thing. That's impossible. That's never ever gonna happen. Never happened in history. It's never ever gonna happen. But
but
having
that's what they are
understanding,
pushing. That's
yeah.
what they are
Well, okay.
pushing though.
If somebody pushing that, that's not what I'm pushing. So maybe my Pan
And
Africanism is
and
different.
another question I want to ask you. So you believe that just simply somebody being black, in America knows, white people, Europeans more than Africans?
Oh, we absolutely know them more than Africans. You
Huh.
see,
What?
let me tell you why. Because what you got to understand, after the Europeans brought us over here, we lived with these people. We were.
He was born and raised in America. His people have been in America for generations. But he's saying when they brought us here. So literally he's saying he was brought in a slave ship. This is weird, people. This is what I'm talking about. So just like I was asking Milky earlier, the one that was internalized and saying, oh, what's his name? George Floyd getting killed. He felt that all the way in Canada. How do you feel that? And by the way, you can take a look at Afro Think Tank. He's clearly, you can see that, he's mixed. He has generational mixture. So what about your mixed side, the European side? What about that side? But I know what they would say. Somebody, oh, they raped my great grandparent. Were you there? How do you know that's what happened? So it's like you cannot, if somebody doesn't want to, not be a victim, there's no way you could help them. No matter what you say, they would find another angle. So you would see like somebody's clearly mixed with something, but you just saying, oh, I'm African, completely discounting your European side or whatever you're mixed with. That doesn't make sense to me.
We were sexually assaulted by these people. We were manipulated by these people. Every time we tried to go our own way and build our own thing and start our own economies, they got jealous of our accomplishment and they destroyed it and they killed us for it. We have an intimate relationship with these Europeans. The oppression that we receive from them is direct. The
Yeah,
oppression that
I
your
get.
oppression is different because the white people in Europe, they controlled your puppet masters, the politicians. So you're looking at your oppression as a blackface. We see them directly as
Well,
white people.
again, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
it all goes down to the
experience.
mindset because I'm getting that what you describe as knowing Europeans is all based in oppressor victim,
No,
because that's what you are explaining.
no. What I'm explaining, see, you're missing. There's a little point that you're missing. You see, it's not.
You guys remember what I told you in the beginning? It is always trying to push oppression, oppression. So it's like you just sit there and start feeling helpless, for yourself. But if you live in America here, yes, there are people who, majority you would see, what are they pushing for? They want to integrate with white people, white society, white communities, white neighborhoods, are considered safer and better. They even have a thing in America called white flight. White flight. So if you are not trying to force yourself upon white people, why does white flight even exist? That's my question. Look, I'm not going by feelings, just I'm watching things. I'm watching exactly what is happening. So this type of mindset, this is what is being pushed. Is completely devoid of reality and common sense. So this is why I'm telling you. I am the antidote to these poisonous narratives. Hey, if you think you are oppressed, sorry, I can't help you. But then don't try to tell me that I'm oppressed. I mean, at least ask me. If I tell you that I'm oppressed, then we can go from there. But how are you just gonna tell me I'm oppressed? But you see, when you listen to someone like him, or maybe two Niger, they sound like this is happening to them. In fact, this guy is sounding like he was a slave. He was back there. This happened. Literally. So it's a problem, people. It's a problem. I'm not here to beat down on anyone, but I'm just pointing out things that some of you were already thinking about, but because you haven't seen someone actually counter these points. Yeah, I see two people are upset. They gave the thumbs down. Thank you for doing that. One of them might be him.
So much the feeling of racism, or the feeling of what they say to us to make us feel bad. There's a system that's in place, and we're trying to tell you that there's a system in place directly designed to keep us down in this country. Literally.
But don't you think if somebody, right? For instance, an African, like you said, they don't know white people. An African who was able to navigate, they thought this out on their own, figured out a way to come to America. Obviously they read the Constitution, read the laws, and able to navigate their way. Would you say they know the system, which is what is more important? Do you believe that they know the system quite a bit?
Oh yeah, you can know this. You can know the system, but you don't know how the system is built. And just because you know a language, don't mean you're fluent in it. So just
No,
because you know
but
the,
what I'm saying, because if one person, you see, the goalpost keeps moving. People, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. So he's clearly he keeps moving the goalpost. Remember, he talked about system. He talked about system, right? He said the Africans don't understand the system. And I threw it to him, okay, if a system that you say is oppressing you and an African comes, they are able to navigate this system without them being oppressed. Doesn't that prove that they know the system more than you do? Because you somehow could not navigate it. But now he's saying, oh, but you don't know how it's built. Who cares? Why do I need to know how it's built? I would leave that for you. You're the one that's worried about that. I'm not worried about how this system that you're saying, how it's built, is working for me. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. It's working for me. I made it work for me. But he's going to say, you don't know how it's built. But does he know how the system was built? He obviously don't. But they are used to being in those panels with people like the two Nigers of the world. So it's all, oh, kumbaya, they come and spew these things. This is why in earlier conversation, two Nigers, oh, the Pan-Africanists, they would come to Africa, they help us because they know the white man more than us. Okay, didn't you see people, the same people are telling you they are running from white supremacy. They know the white man so much. They couldn't navigate the white man, they had to run from the white man. While here is a person telling you, oh, no, I understand the system, I navigated, oh, I have no issues with the white man. If you truly are looking for solution, who would you listen to? The person that is telling you about things that's going to help you navigate your life the way you want to, or the person that is trying to put you in a subjugation mindset? Which one would you go for? This is weird where people are trying to convince you. You know, it's not like they're convincing you to be a victim. They're taking your power away from you. I mean, to me, that's crazy. The only way they want to get along with you is you have to be a victim. This is crazy. But let's allow him to tell us about the system that he's quote unquote keep moving the goalpost for. And is saying they cannot navigate it, and another person is navigating it with no problems. Who knows?
Okay. Okay.
Like
Okay.
who
So
knows it better?
okay, so there's a little nuance there. You see, the people that's able, the Africans or the immigrants that's able to come to this country. First of all, y'all, most of the times y'all already got money, or you'll know somebody, you have a connection over here. All right, I happen to know immigrants come over here. They come over here. They've already learned the system because they have to be taught and they're preened by the groups when they get over here. All right, you
I didn't have any money. Just FYI. I didn't have any money.
guys, you start businesses because you come over here to start businesses or go to school. There's a purpose.
No,
here.
I didn't. I didn't have any money.
I mean, but you knew somebody. You didn't just come over here. Okay.
I came.
You didn't just come over here. You didn't just get on the plane and come over. Right. You knew somebody.
Well, but I'm saying.
But let me tell you something you don't know about the white guy.
But what I'm saying to come, right?
I don't mean to. I want to get this little point. I don't want to mean to cut you off. But see, there's a thing called divide and conquer. There's a thing that white people do on purpose, and what they do is they take a guy. I'm not gonna say a guy like an African who's well-to-do, who just learned the system. They just came in here. They're motivated. They're ready to make some money. The American dream, right? They'll put their arm around him, right? And they'll and then they'll come to the African American and say, "You see this? This is a good sit. Look at him. This is a good black guy." You see?
You notice? So he's talking to an actual African, myself, who came. So this guy is so much in his head. He's in his head. So Africans are not smart enough to understand it is just white people. White people want to hate on you, but they allow just the African to come in, and then they wrap their hands around the African's shoulder and say, "Oh, you are the good black guy. The other one is the bad one." Hey, I don't know this. I've never experienced this. I don't know anyone that's experienced this. But hey, let's allow him to tell us his fantasy story.
He's well behaved. He's well dressed. Look at him.
Wait.
I'm telling you what they look. I'm trying to.
Okay, wait a minute. You do realize you're talking to someone who is an African who's come to this country, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So you're telling me white people are doing this, but I've never experienced
this. Of course,
this.
It's not for you. That's not for you. It's not for you to understand.
No, I've never experienced it.
You're not supposed to. That's the thing.
So me in particular, I'm not supposed to. Do you see how these arguments are framed? So it's like I can just make up something in my mind. So the moment every counterpoint you give me, and I can say, no, because I'm the one, creating the argument. I'm the one giving the answer. So whatever point the person gives, I would go against it and, tell you, oh, no, there's no way for you to know. So this is crazy. You see what I'm telling you guys? This is crazy. These are the type of arguments they bring to your doorstep. It's like there's this secret boogeyman that somehow he's the one that's aware of it, but maybe I'm not smart enough to know it. It's not for me to know. I counted the system part of it, but now he comes back and says, oh no, it's not for you to know. This is crazy. But this is what he believes. He truly believes this. That's why he's having a hard time navigating this conversation. Just as he claims to have a hard time navigating America. But somehow he did good for, in this oppressive America, for him to be able to even buy a plane ticket, going back and forth from, America to Africa. That doesn't sound like a somebody that live in an oppressive system to me.
This is not designed for you to experience it. It's designed for
No,
us to
no,
experience.
what you're saying to say, right?
Yes.
So literally what I'm getting is you're saying, because if I collect it, you are trying to say Africans are not smart
Nope, that's not what I'm
to
saying. That's
know.
not what I'm
Wait,
saying. Nope.
because
You say that.
it sounds like somebody
Mm-mm.
is manipulating, because like let's say a grown like white person, like what you're saying, a white person have never come to me, and I've worked with white people and black people at the same place. I've worked in government job with them, right?
Mhm.
I've never heard a white person come to me to do or say to me what you're
I
saying, to
just
say, oh, these are the
and I
good black
no
people.
no
Or
that you're not you didn't hear me. That's
okay,
not for you to know. You see, this is called the good city. They don't just do it with you, they do it with Asians. So that what they're doing is they're saying, hey, look at this Asian immigrant. He comes over here, he's respectful, he has culture, he has this and he has that,
you're
right?
talking a
Then then
mother immigrant.
yeah. So they do that, right? But specifically for us, so you see, there's a lot of African Americans they don't know anything. They don't know they're meta African. They don't know any culture. They're not the best of it. There are a lot of them like that, right? So what they do is you'll get some ignorant African Americans who be like, oh, I don't like Africans because they get treated better than us, right? Because the white man, because they
So you want to outsource the way you want to be treated, right? So you're not even treating yourself better. You expect other people to do that for you. You're a grown man. You're supposed to be taking care of yourself. You think people are going to immigrate, like thousands of miles away from their homeland to another place and just be sitting around, or looking for somebody to put their arms around them to say, oh, I love you, to try to baby you, or to treat you a certain way. If you don't feel like you're being treated well by somebody, you move on to the next place. That's just how life works. But everything is like, oh no, it's not for you to know. Maybe I'm not that fragile. Maybe I'm not interested in outsourcing how someone should be treating me. You're supposed to treat yourself best. But this is all in his head. It's all in his head. So all the groups, so immigrants, it's a Chinese, like Asians and all. First it was skin color, right? I debunked that then. But now I'm in the same group as the Chinese. Because it makes sense that immigrants are going to have the same type of hunger. They are going to pursue what they are here for. That just makes sense. It's just common sense. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with people's drives and ambition. So, if I'm not sitting there waiting for white people to do for me, I'm going out getting it myself. It makes sense for me to look for the things that I want for myself, right? But for example, if you're waiting there for me to, give you something, to pity you and give you something, I'm going to give you the scraps. Then you want to cry and see somebody that's doing well, who's in the same position to be able to give, and you're like, oh, you treat that person better. No, they are doing it for themselves. That's what America is about. But first, he tried to put me in that group. When I didn't go for it, now I'm just ignorant of the secret boogeyman that is, called the white man doing these things. This is wild.
still blaming the white man for their lack of accomplishments, because you have a lot of black people who still want to blame the white man for why they can't do something, because that's a go-to excuse.
You are blaming the white man. This entire time, you've been blaming the white man from the get-go. Now, don't put this on the other black people now.
We use in our communities.
So for instance, right?
Yeah, yeah.
you're
Africanus,
saying.
please let me check my Black American brother because
Oh,
he's
okay, yeah.
delusional.
You know what? Yeah, I didn't
Please,
know. I
please,
didn't know what you were
this,
waving at. Go ahead.
yeah, I
Go
was
ahead.
trying to say that tap me in, tap me in.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
I
I wasn't
appreciate
sure.
the, yeah, I appreciate the brother that he's nuanced and he's not trying to really he wasn't trying to shame Black Americans for not going to Africa. So that's good. So we're starting off on a good point. But I like to ask the brother some questions or really just speak about what he spoke about, right?
Okay.
Um, so my first question to you, brother, is why did you go to Africa first?
Why did I go?
What was your main reason to go? What was your
My,
main reason to go?
my main reason to go.
Hmm.
Well, I'm a history buff, and I love African culture. So I just wanted to
Hmm.
reconnect with my ancestors, or have at least the area of where my ancestors come from, because I do understand we can't really
Right.
pinpoint it. But I just wanted to go there, and I just wanted to reconnect, and I want to.
He's a history buff. Oh yeah. Hey, I love history. I read lots of history, about lots of places. Okay? I read a lot of German history. Hey, maybe I should do a DNA test. Maybe I'm related to some of those Germans, because I've read so many books about Germany. Who knows? Now maybe I'm related to some of those Germans. I need to do my DNA test. I'll work on that.
I wanted to make Africa a part of my world. A place
And
I.
that is a very good and noble cause. That's something that you didn't really mention in the beginning. You mentioned investment.
Oh,
You
well, yeah, I mean,
mentioned those. Yeah, yeah. And that's what Pan Africans always have on their mouth. First is the money connection before the spiritual and lineage connection.
yeah,
Okay, you
you're right
mentioned
about
$100,000,
that. Mhm.
which is an amount that most Black Americans do not have as an amount that you need more of to be able to be successful in your investment ventures. So,
Correct.
being that your first issue was to go to Africa to connect with your quote unquote brothers, so my question would be, have you started the cultural connection? And with culture, what is very important is communication. So my question is, what African language or what Nigerian dialect do you speak?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm connected right now with the Yoruba culture. All right, on the
Okay,
eastern
so
side, in
it's Yoruba. Can you speak
Yoruba.
Yoruba?
Yoruba.
Nagmizi, take it easy on the think tank, man. Take it easy on him. Nagmizi is bringing good questions here. And these are the questions that people don't ask. Like you put Tunaja on the panel, he would never ask these things. And it's not like you're just trying to do a gotcha. You want to understand where the person is coming from. We want to be on the same page. Like, dude, are you for real? Like, are you just in this fantasy Wakandan mode, or what is it? What is it? And yeah, somebody just put here, like, yeah, they were complaining about the black British actors who were given roles in Hollywood. Mind you, this film company, the industries are built by quote unquote white people or Jewish. So as an employer, you get to pick and choose who you want to give the job to. Imagine somebody complaining about who you can or cannot hire in your company that you built. Think about that for a minute. But you said, oh, we all black, right? Pan-Africanism. So you see right then and there, the black Brits who by the of African descent, now they have issues with them getting a job. So much for Pan-Africanism. Now they okay, when it comes to that, they are foreigners, they are no longer black brothers. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. When you talk about these things, they say, oh, you're creating a divide. What are you talking about? We're just speaking about facts. Like, this is why when you build a foundation on sand, it's not going to last, because the moment, have you guys ever, like, as a kid, like, you go to the beach, you build your nice little house on the beach there, you playing, and then the waves come, it washes off your nice little house that you built, because it's just sand. It's not a real house. It's not real foundation. So if you build your foundation on sand, when it comes in contact with the wave, water, it's going to be shattered. And that's what's happening here. He's about to tell us about his Europa, since he's a history buff.
Well, I've been trying to learn. It's hard because it's a tonal language, but I have been practicing. Like when I go back, that I greet, and I try to do all the greetings, and I try to learn all the customs.
Hey, what happened to all that good DNA? I mean, what the DNA doesn't translate. See, this. I'll let you guys hear this.
It's like a prostration. Now I prostrate all the elders. Make sure that when I do say hello, I say the one that's meant for them. I practice all the traditions. I met the king last time I was there. That was pretty cool. Before he had.
So good. So far, so good. Except that the investment came out first. What I always tell people is beware of the capitalist dressed as a
African parasite. You're cracking me up. Yeah, it's always in the learning stage. But you see, they're always in the learning stage. But when it comes to knowing about the white man and knowing what Africans should do about African culture and other stuff, they already got that down pack. But when it comes to the place to prove, like the language, now there's always a learning stage. Go figure.
Because what's happening is a lot of these people that are calling themselves Pan-Africans are going to the continent to make money off of Africa and exploit Africa and become competition in an already tight economy. And that is positive by what you said, when you said the woman on the bus said she wants to come to America because the government there doesn't have jobs for them.
Yeah.
And prior to that, you said that you shouldn't go there with a job mentality because you'd be what? Competition, right?
Right. You don't want to be competition.
Okay. So now check this out. Now we're going to test your knowledge of how African societies work. Do you realize that in America, especially on the East Coast, we call Africans get money Africans because their business savvy is unmatched. They hit the ground and they get that money. Okay, this is why some of us are mad that they're getting in places that we haven't. A lot of it has to do with the drive. So the get money African, they come from a business mindset. So by your standard of going there to be a competition for a job, but you go there to be a businessman, do you realize you'd still be competing with indigenous Africans for business? You realize that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, ain't no wrong with competition.
Okay. So no, all right. So then it can't be no competition for jobs, but competition in business, because the majority of the Africans that I know, hold on, brother, are business minded. Now, investment. You are talking about investment in on the continent for your brothers that you can't even speak their language, that you have to rehearse how to even greet, how you have to study how to a male greeting versus a different greeting in Yoruba. But my brother, my Black American brother, you and I can kick it for hours without having to rehearse. So my question would be, why did you skip your own block in America to go build up a country or a place a place on a continent in a country that you don't even know? Why did you neglect your own people?
Okay, see, first, they are my people because they Black. I'm a
Pan-African.
No,
wait.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay, go on, brother.
Okay, they are my people because they Black. I'm African. These are my people. I consider them, me personally, all Africans are my people. Point blank. You my peoples. One way or another.
Can you tell me? Can you say that in Yoruba? Huh? Can you say what you just said in Yoruba?
Language that doesn't matter. I can learn it.
Oh, everybody matters.
No.
Said they are my people because I'm Black. So to Niger, the Pan-Africanist, right? There was a panel where he and Kwesi was there. So he likes to talk that blackity black stuff and say we all black. But then reality hits when they talked about, that apparently there was beef between Ghana and Nigeria. You see, when Kwesi was talking about Ghana for Ghanaians, and I guess Nigerians had to catch some heat in Ghana, some time ago. And Tunaja was pissed about that, and he talked about it. He was able to make distinction. He didn't say we all black. He made distinction. You see, when reality hits, the truth comes out. He was able to make distinction, differences, about who is who. He didn't say, oh, because we all black, therefore it's just normal. He was able to tell speak separate about Ghanaian and separate about Nigerian. He didn't say it's all one bowl, one same people. So this guy left many black people in America that he's related to, but he's saying, I'm going to look for the ones, because they're my people. And I don't have problem. If you want to go to Africa, that's cool. That's what you want to do. But don't try to shame other people who are not into that, or try to create some type of ideology that doesn't make sense. It will be, challenged and pushed back on.
Language communication matters, brother.
No, you're arguing about stuff that to me it doesn't matter. You know why it don't matter? Because
so you don't think communication is important in business?
No, listen, because I'm gonna answer your question because you assumed you made an assumption. Okay, that's what you did. You made an assumption. So I'm gonna tell you where you're wrong. Okay. So first, going to take a job from somebody and starting a business and creating jobs, two different things. Especially if the outcome greatly outweighs that one business guy that you're competing with. Second of all, if I get into a sector hold on, I'm gonna bring it around. All right. Second of all, I have businesses in America, and my plan is if I make my business big enough in Africa, I can create an institution strong enough to where I can create a bridge for us exporting goods and services from local tribes people that make beautiful, wonderful garments and beautiful, wonderful items and sell them in America in my communities. I actually have a plan. I have a whole plan on my page. You can go to my page. You can see what I talk about. I don't neglect my African Americans for continental Africans. See, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not trying to escape my people. These are my people. African Americans, my people. I want to take over like on the blocks. I think that African Americans and Africans could be running these nail shops and all that instead of doing Koreans. I believe that we can work together economically to better both sides. I just want to be a bridge for that. I want to connect. That's all. So no, I'm not neglecting.
Okay, so let me your first point. Could you repeat that? Because I wanted to take this point by point. Your first point was about competition, right?
Yeah.
So if you said that you didn't want to go over there with job mentality, and you're right, because you didn't want to be competition. Do you realize unless you have a business that only you do on the continent, you would be competition in business?
I don't mind competing with people. I don't mind competing with Africans that got money.
No, it's not from your standpoint because you're going to the continent with Black American privilege. You're going there with dollars.
What he's trying to do, like right now, if I want to go get this like African outfit, even from Nigeria, Ghana, like literally they have people that are doing that. There's Nigerians here that are already doing this stuff, importing and exporting. I can literally finish this program, hop in my car and drive to these people's store. So the thing is, they don't do the research to understand like the things they talk about. Africans have been doing this for a while. You're a bit late in the game. But hey, he's Pan-Africanist. Why would he want to talk to African about this to find out? But you're going to talk to the ones that are just about telling you, oh, yeah, let's kumbaya. They're not even giving you information that would be useful to you. These things are already in existence.
Okay, so you're going there with dollars. You're going there probably with military pension. Okay.
See, now you add,
So you're putting.
you adding, do you adding stuff? See, what's that military
No,
stuff?
wait, hold on, brother. Hold on. The reason why I said that is because you said that you sat in the Taliban's house. So if you sat in the Taliban's house, are you
Yeah.
not ex-military?
Yeah.
So why is you trying to nitpick, bro? You
No,
one of them.
you said I'm going over there with military mindset.
No, I didn't say you went with military mindset. I said you're going.
Right, African parasite. I'm glad you caught that. See, if you allow the man to speak long, you would know. He made the distinction himself. He said, I don't want to neglect my people. He's not talking about the people in the continent. He's talking about black Americans, which is what he is. So, yeah. This is all just talk.
Over there with probably military pension, not mindset.
Military tension?
Pension, PENSION,
Oh, pension.
or money that you can get.
My bad.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, right.
We back on it, right?
Okay.
We back on the same line.
Okay.
So you're going over there with Black American privilege, Black American money to create a business that you're going to be competing with indigenous Nigerians, specifically Yoruba people, unless you have a business that only you can do. So the question is your business something that has no competition with other Africans?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. It's called manufacturing processing. That's one of the biggest problems in the African countries is they don't manufacture and process their own goods. They sell raw goods.
Okay, hold on.
That's another mistake people make. Yes, in Africa, they process and manufacture their own goods, especially Nigeria. Nigeria is known for that. You know, they even manufacture cars there. What are you talking about? Yes, they do process and manufacture goods there. So, I don't know what this man is talking about. In Nigeria, that's a thing. That's common. You don't even have to go there to know this. You can check documentaries out. Even when I was growing up, do you know how many products, like a lot of the products that we used are from within, West Africa, especially Nigeria. That's where they're from. Not China, Nigeria.
Hold on. You started it, so wait. But wait, unless you're I don't want to get too specific because I don't want you to put your actual business out there.
Okay.
But manufacturing is huge in Africa. Many Africans manufacture their own goods. As a matter of fact, Ghana has just taken over their aluminium manufacturing, and in Nigeria, Dangote is really trying to take back the refining of their own crude oil.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I actually seen the refinery when I was
so when you say that the African doesn't manufacture his own stuff, factually, that's wrong. They're trying to bring it back.
You're taking me literal. I'm talking. They don't manufacture to scale, to where they can take over and control all their resources. That's literally the only problem.
Well, when we talk about resources, brother, Nigeria's biggest resources is their beautiful crude. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dangote is literally building a refinery to do that.
And it's going to be the biggest refinery in the world, and it's going to bring lots
of
jobs.
So now when you say you're creating this bridge, right? Because a lot of Pan-Africans, they talk about like they're going to be movers and shakers on a continent, movers and shakers. And then when you mention what you're going to be doing, this bridge, what you really mentioned, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but it sounded like you were trying to bring trinkets, have people in the village make trinkets to be sold in America. While we black people are thinking about trinkets, the other people on the planet, every other race, you got 3 white guys that are racing to the goddamn moon in their own rockets, and you're talking about bringing tribal trinkets to America.
You just diminished what I said. See, that's the problem. You don't
have. No, I literally repeated what you said. Did you not say you have someone in the village to make trinkets?
There are people in these African villages that make wonderful art. They make wonderful products that can be sold around the world. That should be worth and valued thousands of dollars. But we as the ones with all this money, African Americans, we don't put value on that. We put value on Gucci and all these European things. We don't put that.
Okay, but what?
Okay.
How is that going to better the hood in America?
Okay, how about
Selling
this?
African trinkets is not going to get anyone
No,
to
you
college.
see,
It's not going to teach a young black man how to code. It's not going to get the guns out of Pookie and Ray Ray's hands. It's not. So you're doing all this in Africa while you're neglecting your people in America.
No, I did not. I guess maybe you weren't listening.
Just a second. Hold on,
it, bro.
Hold on, 1 second. Hey, Afro think tank. You know, if you want to learn Yoruba, there's an app called Afro Tongues. You can download it. But okay, continue, Nakmezi. It's called Afro Tongues. You can learn all the
so
thank you.
So shout out to Amilcar. Yes, I'm back, Amilcar. I'm actually working. But look, so this is the thing. And I started by saying, you are, you're not attacking Black Americans. You're not shitting on us, and I get it. But when I say if you're not going to go to Africa with the intention really to connect, and the first thing that all these Pan-Africans come on these channels talking about is investing. What y'all are trying to do is make money off of Africa. And if you really love Africans, what you'd be doing is you'd be trying to force an environment, or you really can't because they know how to do it. If you want to know how to do something in Africa, you ask an African. They understand what we don't. We don't have the answers because we don't have the answers. We don't have the answers for our own hood, bro. And this is what I'm saying. When you say that they're your brothers and you can't even order anything from McDonald's in Abuja in Yoruba, if that even makes sense.
I can order from McDonald's. I'll speak English because everybody speaks English, and then
but now where is your African language skills if you were going there to make a connection?
I just said that I need to connect economically. You know how hard it is? Everybody can't just learn the language either. It's not something everybody can do.
No, but you gotta you can do business in English. You can do business in English. I get it. But you said that you went there to connect with your brothers.
Yeah.
But you went to connect with your brothers speaking in a foreign tongue. You don't respect Africa enough to learn the language of the people. Is this what you're telling me?
What you're doing is you're projecting your own thoughts on something I didn't say. Like what?
Bro, can you count to 10 in Yoruba? Count to 10 in Yoruba, and I'll shut up.
Okay, Yoruba. You can't just learn. I am learning Yoruba as
Count
best
to 10 in Yoruba.
I'm actually too busy doing actual real things in an economy, and I'll learn Yoruba when while I have the spare time. But I'm not doing things.
Okay, so I get it. You about the money first. Thank you. A capitalist dressed as a Pan-Africanist.
Let me address that thing you just said because I actually think you are correct. There are a lot of Pan-Africanists who they start their channel, right? And they like, oh yeah, Africa, I love Africa. Yeah. And then like 5-6 videos in, they're like, yeah, donate this money to this. Donate this money for this. And donate. Give me. And it seems like they're only Pan-African for pay. And I 100% agree with you, brother. That is a thing. So my channel, dude, I don't ask for no donate. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna do it with my own money, and I'm gonna show you how I did it. If I can't do it under my own power, it's just not gonna get done. Because I'm not gonna be out here begging a bunch of people for money, and then when I mess the project up or something like that happen, and then either I'm looking like a bad guy getting reviewed on everybody's channel as a scammer or something like that because I done stole all these people money and ain't got nothing to show for it. So I'd rather just do things with my own money under my own power. That way, when people see me and what I'm doing, they know that I'm not scamming nobody. Because you're right, you should be going there to if you're really a real Pan-African, you should be there. You want to connect, not just economically, even though we need economic because that's the power and the tool we need to better ourselves globally. But I am trying to learn the language. It's hard, brother. It's hard to learn. Like I'm not good at that. I'm good at a lot of things, but languages is not one of them. But I'm doing my best.
Hey, brother, I think your voice sounds familiar. Do you have people in Jamaica or something like that?
No, not Jamaica.
No, okay, that must be somebody else.
Well,
besides the trinkets, what are you doing for the Black Americans in Black America that don't have that 100,000 investment money? Besides the trinkets, what are you doing?
Okay, what am I doing? Okay, so right now, if you went to my channel, you would see that I have several plans. Well, one of my ideas, right? I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you one of my ideas if you don't mind. I think it could work out. and I hopefully that the businesses that I do here in America, if they come to fruition the way I want, if it works out my investments, I will financially myself be able to start
Now, I
something.
don't mean future investments, brother. I mean what you're
Oh,
doing
right
now.
now. Oh, well, right
We're in the
now.
now
Right now. I've
for
okay.
Black
Okay. Right
America.
now, what I'm doing, I've created. Well, in Africa, I've created two. I got two
No, I don't
shops.
care about Africa for this
Oh,
question.
here.
I
Oh,
want
what
to
I'm
But
know
doing for
what
my
but
are
Black
you
but
Americans.
doing
Oh,
for the
right
guys,
hood
now.
in America?
hold
Okay,
on.
for right now.
Just
Right
a sec.
now.
Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, like Mizi, as far as like this guy goes, let's say with the topic, he's not like trying to impose his Pan African idea on other people. He's saying, hey, I'm going to this place, I'm gonna reconnect with the people and I'll invest. So he's doing a personal thing. As far as I'm concerned, that's his thing. And I respect that because he's not saying, hey, I want a group to do this with me. If you don't do this, you are a sellout, you are this and that. So he's using his own money. He's traveling, to go connect with other people. He's not asking them to give him anything or change laws for him. So, like from that point on, like it's up to him. It's his money, it's his mind.
Absolutely, it's
Like
his
like
money.
like he
Well,
Brother,
owes he
you,
owes
I do
no
want to
one
answer
we're
your
not
question.
anything.
brothers.
I do
We're
want to
not
answer your
brothers,
question.
right?
Your question
Hold
was
on, let me speak Afrodamus, then I'm gonna be quiet.
okay.
My issue, it's not even really an issue because what I started with that, I appreciate that he's nuanced. I
Hmm.
appreciate, and I'll say this now, that he's using his own money. He's not an e-beggar, okay?
Right.
And shout out to him. What I want to just say is that we have to be careful with these people that say they're Pan-Africanists, and he agreed, that are going there for investment first.
Right.
If he's not to the level where I'd like to see him, so it doesn't matter. He's on his way, right? So that's the connection that's the path that, in my opinion, you should be going. But my thing was to call out the fact that just because you don't want to be competition with jobs, doesn't mean that you're not going to be competition in business. Because most Africans that I know on the continent are their own business owners. That was my only thing.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I mean,
and 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 if for instance, like with the topic, if you look at it, you know, as far as like Afro think tank goes, I didn't he's not I didn't hear him or he's giving the vibe that, hey, he's coming with his own ideology to tell the Africans about, hey, this is how you're supposed to be African because I'm Pan Africanist. He's like, hey, I'm going there, I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna use my money to invest. Hey, I think any man should have the right to travel to wherever they want, using their own money. But now, when you're trying to shame other people to say they have to think like you, they have to do this with you, then it becomes that's when it becomes a problem because that's showing you don't have the confidence in yourself, so you want to hide in a group, or saying everybody is your brother or sister. Hey, where I come from, someone you're not related to, no, when they say my brother, they are ready to they are ready to to scam you or get something out of you. It's like, you know um when other people, like here, when you go Hispanics, Arabs, or other people, when they say my friend, you better turn the other way because that means they're about to scam you
yeah, that's
as
true. That's
well.
true.
Facts.
So
Facts.
Nigerian.
so
What's his channel so I can subscribe to him?
who?
Hmm?
What's his brother's channel so I can subscribe to him?
Oh, me, Afro Think Tank. That's my channel.
Oh,
Afro Think Tank.
all right, cool.
So
Thanks for the conversation, bro. I'm gonna put you in a shot.
But you guys see how I'm so nice to Afro Think Tank. I even stepped in so like Mizi won't continue beating on him. But he's a snake. A snake in a green grass. He goes and make a video referring to me. His title even said, how to spot an idiot that argues against Pan-Africanism. And he goes and makes all these, allegations. He wasn't even making sense. He said, "Oh, because Afridamus, just because, he sounds intelligent. That doesn't mean he is. And he says that I go to the Planet Fitness, a whole bunch of things that he makes up just to diminish. Oh, I go to the Planet Fitness. I don't go to the Planet Fitness, but it's just funny that he is so much in his head. He just thinks these things and just starts saying them. It doesn't make sense. It's on his channel. You can go check it out. But it's like I'm nice to him here. I even stepped in so Nakmizi doesn't continue to, you know, keep breaking him down. But that's how he repaid that.
Tank, when I ask you questions, but you did well. But look, I would just say, we have to, as Black Americans, we need to fix our own backyard first before we go trying to save the world. Jesus's color, according to all the pictures, was white, and I don't want to try to play Black Jesus in Africa trying to save people because
Right.
I think that Africans are smart enough to save themselves.
Yeah. Now, all right. And I'm agree. Actually, on my channel, I actually say that. I tell African Americans, you ain't saving nothing. I said Africans they're gonna do it with or without.
You see, after Nakmizi grilled him, now all of a sudden he's backpedaling. But that's the energy he brought, as if he's going there to save Africans. But now he's backpedaling, and Nakmizi is absolutely correct in his assessment of things, and he laid it out, and he couldn't have laid it out better. So he's trying to backtrack. So with everything he said, I thought, okay, maybe he learned something, but no, he went back to his channel, and he's even like spewing the Pan Africanist thing even more. Some of these people are just too addicted to this ideology. They cannot see themselves, taking on logical thinking other than what they are programmed to believe. But let's allow him to continue, so you guys hear exactly what I'm telling you. So you see how easy it was for myself and Nakmizi to poke holes in his ideology? It's just an ideology and a fantasy. I mean, great. At least he wasn't upset like others who lose it and start yelling. He kept his composure and willing to have actual conversation. He wasn't crying like Two Niger and others.
They may want your help. They may like you to come over there and invest just like everybody else. I said, but they're gonna be just fine. So if you want to go over there and make your fortune, go over there. If you got the know-how and the will, go do it. I said, but you're not saving anybody. I said, we all, African Americans, we do have a somewhat of a savior complex, right? We think we are just like the American complex. We think
that's from that white liberal mindset.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Oh,
So some of us think that we're
this
going
poor
over
little
there.
African.
Right. Like, nah, I said, these Black folks in Africa, I say everything that we think, and this is a true statement. Everything that African Americans think and believe is purely African American culture. Its roots is just African. I swear. It's all African. When I went to Nigeria, I learned how African I really was. And what I thought was African American culture was really just African culture switched up and modified. I swear.
Yeah, well, the fact is, like when what you're saying, like you didn't come in as like delusional Pan-Africanist, coming up with your own history. You're saying, hey, this is what I discovered. This is what's what. So I'm just gonna, you know, um, go discover, and I'm gonna use my own money. You're not saying, "Hey guys, you gotta do this with me." I'm over here to save the Africans.
Right.
Like you,
I think
you,
that's
you know, you definitely you have your own plans,
I think
and
that's insulting as well.
that is my whole point. Which is people have to, like respect people's individual thinking and how they operate. That's just what it is. You don't have
Mm.
to assume just because somebody looks like you, same skin color, you know, you think like them,
Right.
because where I come from, that's not even how it works, to be honest. Like the way I think is different from the next African person or Gambian person, is
Right.
different. They have their plans, I have my plan. Like, you're not shooting down somebody else's plan because their plan is not similar to yours. So, people should be able to live on their own. That's just my point. The people you connect with, you work with those people or do whatever you do. Um, so GOJ, I'll have to agree with you. Yeah. But you have to know he's Pan-Africanist. So he's going to try to squeeze that in. I just let it slide, but you're absolutely correct. People, if your entire thing is based on, what color the person is, some people are that way, but that doesn't mean you're gonna expect me or the next person to operate that way, because to me, it's not about the skin color. you know um there are some people who you have same skin color is, same skin color, but they are the devil.
That's true.
Okay.
All skin phone
So
ain't kin phone.
yeah, so devils come in all colors.
Right. But
Okay. So
I have to go here, but I do want to
me
answer
too.
this
It's
question.
super. I'm getting sleepy here.
Okay, I
I've
want to
been
answer this question before I roll out about what am I doing for my brothers here in here. To my capacity, what I'm able to do, actually on my channel, I have a few investments that I think is that would be wonderful financially for you. It's called H&O Green Fuels. I have no incentive to tell anybody this. It's a common stock. If you know anything about stocks, before it goes public, you have the ability to download the app on your Apple phone or your Samsung phone. It's called H&O Portal. You can check it out, make a profile, read it about yourself. Is an African American dude from California. He invented this thing called the Leaf Tube. What you do is you put it in a diesel engine. Like, our companies, they use diesel a lot for the big trucks, and a lot of cost goes into fueling those things, and it wastes a lot of fuel just idling. So this device goes inside the truck, and it cuts the particulate matter, which is the actual the poison, the pollution, 50%, which is CO4, which is
Is
why
it
the ice
like
have to melt it, right?
is it the system like the NO3?
I don't know what that is, but
Right. I
I don't.
used to I used to I used to have a E350 Mercedes diesel,
Uh-huh.
and it has this system in it where, you know what do they call it? In the trunk it has, a separate tank where I add what they call AdBlue.
Uh-huh.
So this AdBlue, you know, helps change, this NO2 to NO3. Some,
Oh, okay. Okay, I would say
yeah.
it's on the
So
I would say it was on the line or something like that. But what this does, it uses hydrogen, right? It uses hydrogen to split it to create.
and people, for your information, I do not endorse this investment app that's been advertised. It's just conversations we're having. So I don't want somebody to go and download it, whatever comes of it, and say, "Oh, I learned about this from the Afridamus report." Over here, people have freedom of speech. They're allowed to speak on things. I have not looked into this. I know nothing about it. He's just having conversation. So, with that being said, do not put your money there, okay? Do your own research on your own.
To create the fuel efficiency, that or 50% fuel efficiency, and the byproduct of it coming out the tailpipe is oxygen. So that means a company will be able to cut down on their overhead. They'll be able to say comply with the EPA, because you know how stringent they are in America about the environment, and they'll be able to save the planet, and they'll be producing oxygen out of their vehicle. It's a win-win situation. The guy has government contracts already. You know how big that, how serious that is. Once you start getting it, just check it out. Check out the website, H&O Green Fuels. You can check it out on my
What is
website,
it called?
H&O Green Fuels. If you are in America, Canada, wherever, you can
Okay.
Just check it out, my brother. I have no reason, I have no financial incentive to tell anybody this. I just want everybody to win. Okay.
Also, I see sometimes people say group thing. Or,
Yeah,
look, when it comes to helping other people, you cannot force help on people.
that's a
You
fact.
know, you lay things out, and people need to, I mean, everybody knows what they need.
Yeah,
So, you know, I mean, at one point, all of us, maybe one time blind men on the side of the street. You need somebody to hold your hand to cross the street. But that's not always going to happen all the time. I mean, at some point, you have to lift yourself up by your bootstraps,
that is 100% correct. That is
Yeah,
100% correct.
because you don't want, like, you don't want somebody who's got a poor mentality. When you're trying to get to the moon, they pulling you down.
Correct.
So that's just what it
Apadamas, I
is.
just want to respond to the brother, and I'm going to check out that fuel place. And what you said about AdBlue is 100% correct.
Yeah.
And AdBlue was so in abundance. I have like maybe 10 1,000 liter things of AdBlue. So,
Oh yeah, you
but
you
if
you
it's
know
that
you
black
know you know
America,
about it, right?
Yeah, I heard about it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
like clear,
yeah. I
but it's
used
a
to.
little blue as well.
Yeah, I used to
Yep,
buy it. I mean, like I said, I had a E350 Mercedes diesel.
yep,
So
yep.
I used to pour, have to put it in the little tank. It helps with the atmosphere.
Yep, absolutely. But brother, just so that I'm clear, the question or the issue was what you were doing in Black America for Black Americans. You did mention that you don't have any financial stake in that company, so and it's from
Oh no, no,
someone
no. Oh,
else. So
oh
the
sorry.
question still stands:
I mean, no, no,
what are
sorry.
you doing for Black America?
Oh, sorry. I'm heavily. I'm what I mean is I'm heavily invested. I mean,
Mhm.
I myself personally am invested. What I'm saying is, it's not one of those things where if somebody invests, I get something. That's all I meant by
Mhm.
that.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
you're invested in a Black American company.
Yeah, I'm invested in a Black American company, and I've been advertising
Mhm.
it on my Black channel and in person to my Black brothers. So far, that's all I've been able to do for my Black folks. But I do believe in this. I do believe in this investment. That it could do very well for people financially if they once they read it and see what it's about. I believe they would be
Right.
where I'm at with it.
So, brother, I appreciate that. We should support each other as Black Americans and Black American business holders.
Yes,
I
indeed.
would say if you have any free time, if you have any other energy, grab a young Black American young man or young woman and put them onto the same knowledge that you have and try to pass that knowledge so it can become viral in our communities. Thank you, brother.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. People, it's been a while, and this video here, I'm gonna have to take it down and then chop it into manageable times so people can watch. And disclaimer: I am a staunch capitalist. American. I would take anyone's money, anybody who's willing to do, you know, business. I'm open to all shades and colors. And especially you white people, I've appreciated your business. Continue doing business with me. No problem over here. No problem on my side here. And for black people as well. Because, you want to do business? I am a capitalist. I do not Again, I do not discriminate against your skin color or the green that you're bringing my way. And, that's just what it is. I love everybody, everyone, because, when you hear some of these people talking about this racist thing, it just blows my mind. They don't know how to do business. So you won't regret doing business with me, because know that I am not putting my money towards these hate groups that like earlier, some of the hate speech that you heard. I do not condone it. I love all people, just so you know. The guy, what he was saying, he's a communist. He is an indoctrinated communist. I hope you know this. So that's where it's at. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been great. The conversation went on forever to a point. Me myself, you know, I got sleepy. You know, to Niger, thank you for coming in. Everybody that joined us, Nakmizi, Afro Think Tank, the I think Miller Milk, you know, St. James, and everybody that came in. But for those of you that want to watch this later, I'm gonna take it down and then I'll have to chop it up into manageable, you know, time so people can watch it, because this would have to be many different episodes, people. 6 hours, that is a record for me. So thank you and good night or good morning wherever you are.